Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have the vocalist of Into the Fire, Mr. Bryan Scott himself. They have a self-titled EP that's out right now called Into the Fire, and this is a conjunction of many bands. Pretty much like a kind of an all-star group, as I call it. There's lots of them popping up. This is pretty cool. So, how's it going, Bryan?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
So let's get right into this. So Tim King of Soil sent you a text to jam, and Into the Fire was born. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's get into a little bit of that talk a little bit.
Yeah, we, I've known those guys for years. That's, over several years, the idea of kind of getting involved in something, of course, with everyone's schedule, it's kind of crazy. And it's like, man, whenever we can get it done, it'd be nice. And so finally we just got to that point where, it was a great time for everyone, schedule-wise. And we got these first initial songs done, and it's been great, man. I mean, it just kind of launched easily like that. Like, we just had time, and let's do it.
I know this is an EP. I think there's 4 or 5 tracks on here, but what's impressed you the most about making the debut EP Into the Fire, man? What's caught your eye about it?
Well, yeah, and there's only a couple of songs, and the point of that is just to kind of scratch the surface, introduce the band a bit, and we'll definitely have more music coming out this year, and hopefully some touring plans in the summer. But it was nice because we just, obviously everyone's quite busy, but it's nice with being able to just send tracks around to each other and get things done that way. And the writing process is nice because, these guys send me great riffs, and I can kind of turn them into songs that, is hopefully workable with the project. And we send things back and forth, and it's a smooth process.
You produced this EP. Do you like this side of making the albums versus letting someone else produce it? Gives you more freedom. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I definitely I have a passion for producing other artists, and I do that a lot on my downtime. And I own a studio here in town where I live, and so I do that a lot. And it's always been a passion of mine to just be in the studio a lot. With this project, it's been nice because I don't have to, wear so many hats, I guess.
Right, yeah.
I don't have to create everything from the ground up. Get great riffs, send me some drum tracks, blah, blah, blah. I can, mess with those a bit and kind of turn it into a song, and then we eventually get it done. But I've enjoyed that process because, it's quite different than my other things that I do, where I completely do everything from the ground up,
And like I said earlier, I know there's just a couple of songs off this, but are there any of the songs on the EP that stand out more to you than any?
I mean, there's only two tracks on that EP, so I love both of them. I really like, Spit You Out is one of those kind of no-brainer rocker songs, man, that just kind of kicks your ass, which is great. I'm a big fan of From the Medicine. It's a little deeper, and there's a little more elements to it sonically, and I'm a big fan of that one too. And each one of them has their own thing about it.
Did it make sense to you guys to do an EP now instead of the full-length route, or just wait? I know you mentioned you're going to do it later to do a full-length, so that way you guys can get studio time and things like that. But did it just make sense now just to do the EP and get it out and say, hey, this is us now, listen?
Yeah, it's just all about scheduling, man. It's really, everyone has a lot going on, and we've had the songs sitting around for a bit, and we did a video earlier in the year, and we just didn't want to wait. And, so we want to kind of let everyone get introduced to the bands and the songs, and then we'll, put out extra material definitely earlier in the year. But the EP thing was just one of those, why wait on it,
Yeah.
We love these songs, the killer video, let's just get people exposed to it, and we'll deal with next year as it comes.
How was working with director Eric Richter on the video spit you out?
Oh, he was amazing, man. Like, I originally approached him with an idea of, I really wanted, the whole concept behind that video is like, I really wanted kind of a mid-90s, old STP kind of, maybe Nine Inch Nails vibe. Where I love those videos from that era, and you don't see that anymore. And I wanted that feel to it. I thought it fit the song, and I just didn't want a lot of the. I wanted a grittier vibe, and I just don't see that much these days. Like, so, I think he really did a great job of making that happen for sure.
What do you hope the fans take away from your guys' music once they start to listen to it, man? What do you hope that they take away from it?
Yeah, taken away from it, hopefully they love it and they can have an attachment to what the songs are saying and just the feel of it. And of course, I always love that people can just take away from a song their own interpretation, Yeah. And instead of imposing like exactly what I meant for it to be, I love that's what I love about music actually, is that you can, I don't know what the songwriter meant by it, but I know what it feels like to me. And that's what I like about that. I like that people can just have their own interpretation of the songs, and hopefully they can connect to it with their lives in some way,
Now, this is primarily just for you because I know you produce and things like that, but in the way you guys did this EP, these two songs and everything, but do you prefer the digital era of recording albums the way it is today, or yourself, would you rather be in a studio and cutting all the tracks that way? Because I know we could pass songs from me to you or whatever if we're cutting an album via MP3, but what do you prefer, man?
Personally, I would prefer for it to be exactly like it was 15 years ago. I love to get into the studio and, once all the songs are done, you just get into a big space and you just record it to 2-inch. Like, I prefer that, but that's just my old school soul, I prefer it sonically. I prefer it, artistically, but, we're in a position that we are now with the way things are, and you just kind of have to get things done accordingly. And believe me, I would love to go back to everything had to be on 2-inch, and your performances have to be exactly how they should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Have
but
somebody cut it.
It isn't. It is what it is, man. I mean, everything's so fast and so accessible, and you need product out. And absolutely, I admit that it definitely dumbs down the process a bit, which is unfortunate. I mean, I would love to take 2 years making a record on 2-inch with a bunch of amazing rooms, but we don't have the budget. It's that simple,
And I'm going to say this, and people will say I'm crazy, but I like the old, back in the 80s, early 90s, even earlier than that, Bryan, when you didn't know much about a band. You had to go out to the stores and look at Hit Parade or Circus Magazine or Guitar World or something like that to find out about these bands. The mysterious, that's not there anymore of these bands. And I think that hurts the music right now, to me.
No, man, I completely agree with you. Like, the mystique is completely gone away. But it is what it is, and unfortunately, all of us that have committed to this torturous lifestyle, we have to kind of commit to it, man. But I totally agree. Like, I miss the days of never being like, I couldn't speak to my rock star. I couldn't speak to the guy that I thought was like the biggest rock star on the planet. I went and bought his record. It took me, 2 weeks of mowing grass at my grandma's place to get the money, and then I had to get a ride to the store. Then I finally peel off the packaging from the vinyl, and it smelled amazing. And then I put it on the record player.
Yes.
And that's And then I'm so attached to those people because of not because I love the songs, because of the process. The process attaches you to the feeling of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
It required a lot of effort from me to attain the song, and that effort is gone. Like, it's just gone.
Yeah. I remember going to the record stores and buying a cassette tapes at the time, and like you said, smelling it when you open it up and holding it in that little pack that it came in, it was like, damn, this is awesome. Now it's like, I'll just download it, buy it and download it. It's like, really? Why? We've missed out, folks.
Yeah, it's a big, I also produce, other bands in my studio here, and a lot of these younger kids are they don't understand like how that process changes, like how it immediately makes you a fan of something forever.
Yeah.
Because you've committed so much energy and mental energy and physical energy to the process of attaining it. Like when you attain something through no effort, it doesn't mean much to you.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for them. I mean, we grew up in a great time.
It's funny though. People will come and see my CD collection. And are like, "Hey, can I borrow this?" No.
Yeah, don't touch that.
Yeah, it's like, no, man. I worked my ass off to get those. No. Go order them or something. I mean, go. They're still out there. You just gotta go order them.
It's a different process, man.
Are you guys wanting to take Into the Fire out on the road eventually, possibly? If so, I mean, what we gonna get from you guys out on the road?
Yeah, we're working on some new tracks now, and of course, like I said, the EP was just kind of scratching the surface and let everyone know, about the band, and so we have some new tracks coming, and we'll definitely do some shows this summer, and have some touring things in the works for 2017. So nothing I can officially announce yet, but it's all in the works for sure.
Right. So, Bryan, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, that's what I want to do? Well,
that's, when I was probably 11 years old, I wasn't even into music yet, but a buddy of mine, this is funny, like, I was actually playing I was a big video game head, like, even back in of course, those are like, back then it was like the stand-up video games, of course.
Yeah.
So I was hugely coordinated, with these things, and like, I was great at sports and blah blah blah. But I had never experienced music, and like a buddy of mine was just like, man, like your hands and like you're just so coordinated, and you should try playing guitar. And it was nothing that I had even. This is probably around 11 years old. Nothing that I had even had an interest in, And so once I discovered that, I was just done from there. I mean, once you find, I'm lucky in that way, I guess, tortured in some ways, but lucky in most ways that I found that thing that I knew right away that at 13, I knew from that moment, like, this is who I'll be for the rest of my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's a rare thing. I mean, most people at that age don't, and like I said, it's torturous as well because it's a feast or famine life, of course, but knowing who you are and who you want to be is kind of a privilege, regardless of the madness that comes with it. So I knew from that moment, man, like once I started playing guitar, that was my thing. There's fucking no going back. It's it. That's it. I mean, I don't care about anything else.
I want to give a rundown before I let Bryan go here, who all's in the band. This is actually pretty epic, I think. You got Bryan, of course. He's from the Union Underground, vocals and guitarist. Tim King of Soil, he's the bass player. Adam Zadell of Soil, also guitarist, and the amazing Will Hunt. Man, I can't say any ill words about this man on drums because he's everywhere on drums. With Evanescence, I should say. Plus, he's with Black Label Society there for a little while now with you guys and a couple others. I mean, geez, he's a phenomenal drummer, man. So you guys got a good one.
Oh yeah, the entire band's just stellar, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been really exciting to have all these guys involved, and you know, it's gonna be a crazy year, man.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys, Bryan, if they want to buy this EP or check out some tour dates or whenever this happens, or just stay in tune with you guys? How can they do that?
IntoTheFire1.com is our main go-to, and of course, we're all over social media, and you can find us there by just searching, of course.
I just like to say you got support from BODS Mayhem Hour. I'll be playing your tracks on here for sure. And before I let you go, good friend, will you care to do a promo for my show?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, everybody, this is Bryan Scott from Into the Fire. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody, stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Bryan.
No problem, man.